Hello and welcome to Insight Indonesia, brought to you by the Jakarta Globe. Today we're talking about something that I didn't think you would ever be able to talk about on television in Indonesia, which are the events, the horrible events, really, of 1965 in the aftermath of the failed coup against President Sukarno and the purge of the Communist Party of Indonesia. After that, of course, we've had a report now released by Komnas Ham, the National Human Rights Commission, saying that the events of 1965 constituted a gross violation of human rights and calling for a legal process to begin. And President Susilo Bambang Yudhoyono last week also endorsed the Attorney General to begin a process of investigating the Komnas Ham findings. With me today is Nur Kholis, the Vice Chairperson of Komnas Ham, to talk about the report.
Yes, report.
Thank you very much for being here.
Okay. Yes.
I think everyone now knows that the report was released.
Mm-hmm.
What is the significance of this investigation by Komnas Ham?
Yeah, this is a long inquiry, I think. We start in 2008, then finish just last week. So it's almost more than 4 years to make a investigation. Then during the investigation, we visit many areas in many places in Indonesia, such as Medan, Palembang, in Sumatra, and also in Palu in Sulawesi, and some place in Kalimantan. Also, we focus on some area like Pulau Buru in Ambon. Then also we visit some area in like in Bangka Belitung or something like that.
Sure.
And then we
and
found,
these were all
yes.
areas where massacres occurred.
We found it. Then we found that some similar fact, that in some area we found some murder, slavery, torture, and another act that's related with law number 26 years 2000. The law is about the code of the human right. Then our conclusion that we believe that there is indicate that gross human rights violence in 1965 and 66, and then one unit in our government should take responsibility for this case. Then our recommendation is two recommendations. First is ask to the Attorney General to continue this process, to enact the process in related with the law enforcement. And the second, we ask to the government, and including the Attorney General and another institution, to make a reconciliation to
So a process of justice and reconciliation.
Yes.
As the president said when he went to the AGO's office, he cited the example of South Africa, for example, as a place where a process had to go forward that addressed both justice and reconciliation. In doing the report, I assume you talked to victims and their families. Were you surprised at what you found?
Yeah, you know that the some witness is who really know about that case, and then they part of the the case, it's been they involved in this case as a victim, and then they until now can survive, and I mean they can survive until now. So, but I think they are suffer.
They suffered all these years.
Yes, until today.
Yeah.
So it's mean what we should do. Even some group in Indonesia also not agree with this process. But I found that it's very important for this country to respond the victim. What we should do is how to make a reconciliation for the group in Indonesia, because you know that this is even there's some fact that we found that some murder, slavery and other, but this is still sensitive issue in Indonesia.
I know it is.
So it's mean reconciliation is very important. But who will conduct the reconciliation? We're asking the president to take this directly.
And it seems that he takes this seriously.
Yes.
I'm going to stop there. I want to talk more about the process of reconciliation and this groundbreaking report when we come back. You're watching Insight Indonesia. We're talking about 1965. Stay with us. Welcome back to Insight Indonesia, brought to you by the Jakarta Globe. Today we're talking with Nur Kholis, the Vice Chairperson of Komnas Ham, the National Human Rights Commission, and we're talking about the groundbreaking report on the tragic events of 1965. Nur Kholis, you and your team, over 4 years, traveled throughout the country, talked to victims of the violence in 1965. Is it possible to explain exactly why this happened?
Yes. Generally, our conclusion is after by the end 1965, after the murder of some general in Indonesia, there is we found that one operation on behalf to maintain the situation, but we found that the team make mistake because they make some list, the name of the people, and then based on the list, the people catch and arrested in the place that's under place of the army or the place under control of the army, and then there is some murder, some slavery, some tortures happen, and then it's happened until 90, at least 90 from 1965 until 1968. And then
so it went on for about 3 years.
Yes, around 3 years. After that, generally, some of them bring to the court, but mostly there is no court for them. And after that, they send to some like camp, like Moncong Loi or Pulau Buru.
Sure.
And then it is starting in 1970 until 1978 or 79. So around 10 years, we found that this period, the last period, is like slavery.
So not only were, in the initial violence, many people killed, hundreds of thousands, but then many more were enslaved.
If they survive.
If they survived.
Yes.
And this was, their crime was being associated with the PKI.
Yes, mostly.
Or being accused of.
Or, yes, mostly yes.
How many people, the estimates of the deaths in 65 or in these events vary from 100,000 or so up to 3 million. What figure does Komnas Ham accept? How many people died?
Also, we got information about how many victims from the some researcher inside and abroad the country, but we not focus on the number because we are focused on the some like a murder,
I
like
see.
a slavery, but we can we can count some victim like the act of the like slavery in Pulau Buru, for example. We can account that because we met with some victim them, and then we look at the some area. Then we can imagine that this is one camp. They put 500 people there, and then under they put 500 there, so we can account that.
So you could figure out how many people were enslaved.
Around in slavery in Pulau Buru around I forgot, but in Moncongloe it's 1,000. In Moncongloe only.
Yeah.
And then in Pulau Buru more than that. So I can look at my report. So this is exactly the slavery, and the murder. This is very spread it in many area. Then, for example, in Bali we found 500. In Medan we found more than 1,000. In Palembang we found 300, and Merauke we found 600. So in our report it's very complete, but we not account the number. So
you don't account for everyone,
yes,
but you go to places where you can prove that this many happened.
Yes.
How many? We're just about to take a break. How many researchers were involved in the Commission's report?
Researchers.
How big was the team?
Just 15.
15 people.
Yes.
15 people worked on this report for 4 years.
Yes.
It's an amazing accomplishment.
Yes.
And the next step then, I assume the work now, the real work starts.
Yes. Just I believe that. Yes, I agree. I agree that. Yes.
And when we come back, we'll talk about that. What the process is going forward based on the findings of this truly historic report. You're watching Insight Indonesia, brought to you by the Jakarta Globe. Today we're talking with Nur Kholis from Komnas Ham about 1965. Stay with us. Welcome back to Insight Indonesia, brought to you by the Jakarta Globe. Today we're talking with Nur Kholis, the Vice Chairperson of the National Human Rights Commission, and we're talking about the events of 1965 and the historic report that was released by Komnas Ham last week. Obviously, something on a scale, size of what happened in 1965, we could talk about the details of Merauke and Medan and Bali and West Java, Central Java, all day. But now that you've documented it, what does the Commission hope will happen next?
So exactly, basically, we don't want this massacre happen again in Indonesia. This is very first. It's very important for us. We should learn from this case. But based on our recommendation, that we have two recommendations. We send the result to the Attorney General, and then Attorney General have right to continue to the court if there's can. And the second, we recommended to make reconciliation. Then even we not put in exactly in our recommendation, they should should take responsibility for the reconciliation. I think it should be President. So,
on behalf of the
on behalf
of
the government, because this is a very huge case in Indonesia. I think if the President, and I believe that President 2 days ago also make response for our report, then we can learn from another country, like especially the Africa, South Africa. That's Nelson Mandela Nelson Mandela project or Nelson Mandela reconciliation is very good, because if there is no reconciliation, there is some problem still can raise in Indonesia in the future.
I think a lot of people in countries where these kinds of tragedies have occurred, and they've happened all over the world. I mean, they happened in the United States in our own Civil War. There were terrible killings and tragedies that we had to grapple with in my country. But I think the conclusion most people reach is that if you can't face up to what happened, you can't heal and prevent it from happening again.
Yeah, it's very important in this case. It's about victim. So you can imagine there's since I conduct the inquiry, I met with the old women, I met with the old men. There is can survive from the 1965. Then their situation is very suffer, I think. So how come this country is big country and we cannot handling this situation? And there is the number of the victim, I think this is very huge in Indonesia if we want serious. Even we cannot fulfill all the what they need, but maybe at least we can forgive. We can make some declaration. Also maybe we can just shake their hand, and then we can bring them to another situation, not the right now situation. We should move their situation from this situation to another situation. This is very important for the victim. And then who is preparator in this case also? With the victim need talk with them.
Need to talk to them.
Yes.
So you would like to see a possibility where victims can talk to the perpetrator,
or I mean not in the in the big fist preparator term, because almost all of them already died. But maybe in some area we found that the preparator is still alive. So it's better we can make some dialogue among them, because all of them is Indonesian, and then the most important, all of them is human. Part of the international community. So why not we try to reconciliation?
And do you now want to see the truth of 1965 finally taught in the schools?
Yeah, it is another process.
Yeah.
Because if we want to make another, we still need some research, new research, and then we should be really careful about our history. But it is, I think, another point. After victim, okay, we can continue to what happens in the past, of Indonesian people. So maybe after that we can change some information, some of our history, and then should be after that the students should be know that what the truth.
Because it's never been taught.
Yes.
And in fact, it's been something that you were more likely to know about 65 in Indonesia if you studied Asian history abroad than if you studied here in Indonesia, because it wasn't talked about.
Yeah, I think this is the right situation to change all of the situation, including the history, but involving related with the history, decisions should be very careful, because there is still Indonesia, I think, still too mainstream about our history. First is about they believe this situation is like this, and another.
And that's a debate that will take many years to resolve. We're out of time, but I think most of people watching this program would conclude that Komnas Ham has truly taken an historic step towards reconciling one of the bitterest chapters in Indonesian history, and I thank you very much for being with us today. You've been watching Insight Indonesia, brought to you by the Jakarta Globe. The show is available for live streaming on beritasatu.tv and beritasatu.com, and we post the shows online at thejakartaglobe.com. Thanks for being with us.